This FWT Live broadcast of the 2013 Formula Kart Productions Florida Winter Tour is presented exclusively by Ocala Grand Prix. Check them out online at ocalagrandprix.com. All right, here we go. Nicholas Bruckner leading them down, ladies and gentlemen. And we are racing. Oh, we got one driver immediately shooting off to the side of the track. So that was not exactly the way you're supposed to do that, but a little bit of contact, obviously, in these wet conditions, and off he went. I believe that's one of those Verhagen boys up there near the front in the third spot, but under pressure, so it looks like maybe Bruckner trying to look at the color on these go-karts. We got a couple of cars off down there in turn 3. Right now we're following the car, I believe, in the third spot. That is the case as Bruckner is in third. Up front into the carousel for the first time, I believe that is Nicholas Bruckner, the number 174, and indeed it is, followed closely by the number 120 of Colin Stewart in second, then Neil Verhagen, the 191, in third. Perez in the fourth spot, Matias Ramirez fifth. Good racing a little further back in the field. I believe that's probably Alfonso Luis Perez and Matias Ramirez right behind Neil Verhagen. That is who it is indeed. And they go side by side into 7, and that could have gotten ugly, but they got it done. I believe that was Ramirez passing Perez as they made their way into 7. Right now online, we are watching that battle between Ramirez and Perez. You see the top 3 just out of the shot now, and then there's that battle, and here we go, another pass as Ramirez goes back by Perez down into turn 2. So your leader, Bruckner, Stewart second, Verhagen in the top 3, then followed by Perez, Ramirez, and Schick in that order. Santiago Tarifi in the 7th spot. Anthony Gangi Jr. 8th, Sergio Tarifi 9th, and Antonio Saravalli rounding out the top 10. Wow. So Andretti Autosport having a good day as they finish first and third at the St. Pete Grand Prix with Marco Andretti coming home in the 3rd spot. So our buddy James Hinchcliffe put his training to good use and comes home 3rd. All right, here we go as Matias Ramirez now moves past Neil Verhagen for that 3rd spot. So Ramirez, the driver out of Florida, picking up the 3rd spot over the driver from Connecticut here in the United States. And that is the battle we're watching online. Whoa, right now I just got handed a note from the young ladies from the 100% Serious Fun ticket sales up to $409. So if you want some of that 100% Serious Fun money, $409 right now, and we've still got a couple of races to go. Just look for the ladies from Formula Kart Productions walking around with that big roll of blue tickets in their hand. Buy yourself a chance at over $400, and then make sure you're in the podium presentations during the championship podiums, and you'll have a shot at over $400 in serious fun. Our leader working lap 5 of a scheduled That's a 16 scheduled here in Mini-Max. My apologies there. All right, now we see that none other than Mr. Anthony Gangi Jr. has made his way up here. Anthony's starting a little further back in the field, but now he is making his way toward the front. Speaking of at the front, we got a battle for the lead now between Nicholas Bruckner and Colin Stewart as Mr. Stewart out of Florida is reeling in our leader ever so slowly. And then here comes Anthony Gangi Jr. I think we'll see Gangi Jr., going down the inside on Matias Ramirez. We'll see if he's able to hang on to that spot as they make their way back through the infield. And yes, indeed, Anthony Ganji gets by and has moved up into the third spot. Okay, here goes a pass for the lead. Stewart tries it and pulls it off. Colin Stewart to the point. Bruckner back to second. Trying to find out where Anthony Ganji started 17th, ladies and gentlemen, and he's currently running in third. And again, Ganji Jr. 17th up to third, already just 6 laps into this race. So keep your eye on the 107 of Anthony Ganji, currently in the third spot. Here comes our leaders through the carousel now. Our new leader, Colin Stewart, followed closely by Nicholas Bruckner in second. Then about a 1.5 second gap to Anthony Ganji Jr. in third. We'll watch that gap now as Ganji Jr. has charged through this field rather quickly. So the race at the front now becoming a bit processional. Let's look at the gap from Ganji to second place. It's still 1.5 seconds. So those drivers, both Stewart and Bruckner, turning in their fastest lap of the race on that lap, and all of them running within thousandths of a second of each other in their lap time. So not a lot of changes in the order, as there is about 0.86 of a second between first and second, and then about 1.5 seconds between second and third. Working lap number 10 of the scheduled 16, working 10 of 16 here in Minimax. Drivers, let me remind you again, if you are in the championship podium position, you will be having a champagne or cider spray during your podium, so make sure you prepare yourself for that. Again, you must appear in your driver's suit with your helmet, but be prepared that you will be having a champagne and cider spray. First time here at the Florida Winter Tour. We did that for the first time ever last weekend during the Formula Kart Championship podiums, and we'll do it again this weekend in the Rotax Max Championship podiums. We'll do a couple of shout-outs while we're watching the laps wind down here in Minimax. Whoa, Bruckner trying a deep move down there, trying to get back up to your leader. That one didn't work out too good, but he does appear to be closing down on the leader now. But a shout-out to Bryce Choker from Chris Black at Black Racing Engines. Good luck, Bryce Choker from Chris Black. Congratulations to Andres Fonseca for his third-place finish. That's from Nico Ramirez. Again, Andres Fonseca, congratulations on your third place from your friend Nico Ramirez. Taking a look at our gap as our leader makes his way out of the tree turn and up toward the carousel. On the previous lap, that gap was 0.551 of a second. And working lap number 14 of a scheduled 16, the gap now down to 0.312. So Bruckner is closing rapidly enough to make this a race at the finish. We'll see if Stewart lights it up as he hears the car behind him. Oh, and Bruckner with that late inside move again down in turn 3. He gets close, but Stewart able to drive hard off the corner and opens the gap back up. But again, the gap down to 0.312 of a second last time by, and they should see 2 to go this time by. Your leader back up into the carousel. Your leader back up into the carousel. And I was anticipating 2 to go that time by, and I'm not sure. Maybe that my timing screen is not updating correctly. Yep, I believe we are going to see white flag next time by. The flagman was black flagging a driver that was being lapped, and I think, and again I'm speculating here, that he missed the 2 to go for our leaders. We'll see in just a moment. And our leader up into the carousel. I'm looking at the flagman, and indeed he has the white flag in his hands. So white flag lap here in Minimax. So Stewart, and I don't recall this young person having a win here at the Florida Winter Tour. I mean, I'm not the announcer all the time, so it could be in years past this young person has had a win at the Florida Winter Tour, but we'll see when we get to the podiums. A very happy Colin Stewart takes the win. From the look on Nicholas Bruckner's reaction, he's also very happy, so that probably has championship implications. Anthony Ganji Jr. coming home in the 3rd spot. Santiago Tarifi coming home 4th. Neil Verhagen 5th. Matias Ramirez in the 6th spot. Stingray Robb in 7th. Luis Perez 8th. Tio Chick 9th. And Sergio Tarifi rounding out the top 10. So look at that. The twin brothers from Venezuela finishing in the top 10 here in Minimax. We're going to take a look at the championship points for Minimax. And based on what I'm seeing on my screen, including all races, Bruckner was leading. So I would suggest, based on his body language, that Nicholas Bruckner knows he locked up the championship over Anthony Ganji Jr. David Malukas in the 3rd spot. But we'll have to wait until we see how the points shake out when we took the drops into it all. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, up next in our daily podiums. Once again, we got a whole nother round as we move into our championship podiums following the presentation here of our daily races. Sponsored by AM Engines. As I say, if you've been around our sport for any length of time here in North America, you know AM Engines has many race wins and championships with their name on the motor, and they're a sponsor here in Minimax. Coming home with a strong run. Starting 21st, charging through a very stout field of Minimax drivers. 3rd place today, Anthony Ganji Jr. Another strong run for this young man. He loves being on the podium, and he's second today. Nicholas Bruckner. That kid loves to win. And this is a name I'm wanting to find out more about. I sometimes, because I'm so removed from the racing up until this year, I haven't heard this name, so I'm anxious to find out more about our winner today, wearing the number 120, Colin Stewart. Good job, Colin. Colin, okay. Now, Colin, where are you from?
Florida.
What part?
Boca.
How many times have you raced the Florida Winter Tour?
First year.
First year. And this is your first podium or first win?
First podium in FWT, but I've got podiums in different racers.
Oh, but there's only one FWT, ladies and gentlemen. So, first off, congratulations in all sincerity. It's a very competitive field here in Mini-Max. You got to be excited. Tell me a little bit about your race. Not too eventful after a short term, but really exciting in the front.
Yeah, I was trying to keep myself calm and be as smooth as possible and don't get too excited. But
yeah. Being out front looks easy, but it's not, is it?
No.
Not at all. Tell us who's helping you here this weekend to get you up on the top.
Well, I would especially want to thank my parents, my mom, my dad, my sister, and my dad. I already said that. That's all right. And obviously, I would like to thank my mechanic Cole and Kurt and Mike B.
Congratulations, your man. Good to see you. Hope to see you again here at the Florida Winter Tour. A solid run for that young man as he comes home on top of the box here in Ocala. Colin Stewart in first, Nicholas Bruckner in second, and Anthony Ganji Jr. 21st to third here in Mini-Max. Moving on to our next category, ladies and gentlemen, sponsored by our good friend Ariel Castro at AM Engines. What a super year for that team, and they are our sponsor here in Mini-Max. It's because of the boots. Everybody wants to get cider in those boots. All right, coming home third, ladies and gentlemen, in a very, very competitive Mini-Max field. I want to take a moment to give some props to the Max Speed group. Did you guys see the qualifying times on Sunday in Mini-Max? If I remember right, the top 26 competitors were covered by just over half a second, and not a one of them bunny hopped. And I think we can thank our friends at Max Speed Group for stepping up in what was a pretty courageous move to get that done. And I think the racing really, really has worked out for Mini-Max because of that. End of the turbo era here in Rotax competition. A super run for this young man, and I'm glad to say, I know how to say his name now. He is third in the championship. Matias Ramirez is third. Matias, good to see you, buddy. Man, I love those glasses. That's awesome. Okay, Matias, tell us a little bit about the run through the tour and then who's helping you.
Well, the first two races I felt pretty good. Didn't think I was going to get the third spot this race, and I'd like to thank George Orlano, everyone under the OGP tent, Nate Grindell and Mario for the engines, my mom and dad, and the rest of my family in Colombia.
Congratulations, young man. Third in the championship, Mr. Ramirez comes home in third. Up next, this guy has multiple championships here at the Florida Winter Tour and around the country. He comes home second in the championship here at the Florida Winter Tour. Anthony Ganji Jr. is second. All right, champs, like I said, we're always talking about – oh, here you go. Always talking about champs here at the Florida Winter Tour. You got to feel good, man, when such a competitive field and you have such a solid result.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty awesome. I mean – Nicholas Bruckner beat me straight up. I'll tell him, I'll give him the glory. But, I mean, I would just definitely like to thank God for this weekend. And just my dad, my mom, my family for coming down and supporting me. Just, my sponsors, Whole Shot Karting, PKT Axles, and God, of course.
Congratulations, young man. Second in the championship. We're going to see some more of him, I'm sure, in the very near future. Second is Anthony Ganji. And he's already told you who the man is. Like he said, he gives him his props. He's had a solid run through, and he is your champion, ladies and gentlemen. Nicholas Bruckner is going to be your champion. Good job, buddy. Get up here. Nicholas, you're going to the World Finals, man. How about that? That's a big prop. You know, FWT championship and going to the World Finals. It don't get a lot better than that, right?
No, it really doesn't.
Tell me a little bit about your championship coming in. What were your hopes? How did it go through the tour, and who's helping you?
Well, I was really just trying to race hard, have fun, and it worked out this way. And I'd like to thank God, and I'd like to give him all the glory. And I'd like to thank MRP, my Mimi and Papa, CMW Engines, Jose, Mark, and MRP's Data Acquisition School, and my teammates Malukas, Harry Colton, Chase, and Sebastian Montoya.
Congratulations, young man. Deserved champion and going to the World Finals. We'll see you in New Orleans. And he is your winner, ladies and gentlemen. Nicholas Bruckner, the champion in Minimax. Second, Anthony Ganji Jr. and Matias Ramirez rounding out the podium on the championship podium. Going to the Worlds. And again, thanks to Robert Gumpenberger, Josh Smith for jumping in there and helping out. Thank you also to Pam Haynes and Carla Bjorklund, risking life and limb on the championship podiums.